Give me a second while I rearrange my screen. I guess you can't really do much on weekend, but do you have any plan for the weekend, or did you have any plan for the weekend? Let's see what else. Participants. All right. Now, you can refer back to your notes, but first, let's try. You don't really need to memorize any, well, you don't really need to memorize anything in this class, especially all the tests and quizzes are open notes. But as you go through concepts and repeat many of the similar concepts, you might as well remember, right? Can you define what each letter represents? First, let's go with a name. So this is what I want you to do. N is, does anybody remember what N stands for? N is a natural number, numbers, yeah? And what are natural numbers? Can you give me an example of natural number? It starts from 1, 2, 3, dot, dot, dot. It goes on and on forever. Right? That's a natural number. Now I want you to do all the rest. What's W, Z, Q, and Q and dash, meaning you read it as Q prime. Okay. So let's take a minute. Now, I have one student who is joining for the first time. Cyan Turner. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you will be able to see all the other video recordings for this class and uploaded on Canvas. If you go to Canvas modules, at the very top of it, there is a link for all the video recordings for this week and last Friday. So I'd like you to watch that. We are still at the beginning of this quarter, so you'll be able to, you should be able to catch up fairly quickly. But please make sure that you watch that, okay? All right. Okay, let's go over. W is, I think I saw, thank you, Haley. W is a whole number. And whole number is practically same thing as natural number, right? Do you guys remember talking about that? But whole number starts with 0 and then 1, 2, 3. And I've also said that some math people, textbook, they don't even talk about natural number. They will just talk about whole number. Right? Z is integers. I think somebody looked it up why it's Z, right? It's coming from a German word for a number or something, right? So Z. And the integers are very similar to whole number, except it counts for both positive and negative one, positive and negative two, positive and negative three. It's all positive and negative, all of them. Those are integer. So integers are positive, negative, whole numbers. Does that make sense? You can say positive and negative whole number. Whole numbers are all positive, but integers include all positive and negative. Now Q, the name is, yeah, thank you, Francisco. Q is rational number. Very good. Thank you, Gentry. Rational number. Now, I've asked you guys to memorize three things, right? Do you guys remember that? What are rational numbers? First, for most, it is a number that can be expressed as fraction. Anything that you can write in a fraction with a whole number, okay? No decimal fraction, no like a 2.1 over 7. That's not rational number, okay? It's like a 5 over 7, 3 over 6, anything. Those are all rational numbers. But there are two special cases where it is very good repeating decimal. And the third one is, what is it? Terminating decimal. Repeating decimal such as 0.333, and it goes on and on forever. If it repeats, you can write it as a fraction. There's a way to do that. We're not going to go over on how to do that, but if it repeats any pattern, 0.125, 125, 125, if it repeats, you can change it back to fraction form. And if it's a fraction, it's a rational number. Terminating is the decimal that stops, because 0.157, and then it stops. If it stops, you can definitely write it as a fraction. That's 1,000ths. Okay? And again, if you can write it as a fraction, it's a rational number. And then all the rest are irrational. Rational. And irrationals are not rational. That's what irrational means, right? And it's not rational, meaning it's not fraction. It does not repeat, and it does not terminate. That's right, very good. It's like a pie. Example will be like a pie. What is it? 3.14159. That's all I remember. And then it just goes on and on forever. There's no pattern. It goes on and on forever. And so it is irrational. There are a lot more irrational too. Bunch of a square root. Square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5, square root of 6, square root of 7, square root of 8, square root of 10. You see how I skipped square root of 4 and square root of 9 because those are 2 and 3, right? But any non-square number, square root, they are all irrational. Okay? Now, is everybody okay so far? We also talked about some classification of some numbers. What is 7/3? Definitely. What would you say? Definitely, that's a rational number. Anything else? Some numbers do wear multiple hats. We've talked about that. Okay. I guess 7/3 is just rational. That's it. Okay. How about square root negative square root of 16? What is that? Anytime if you can reduce or simplify, you want to do that first. Now, square root of 14 is 4, isn't it? This is a negative 4. Same thing as. Now, what is a negative 4? Negative 4 is integer, right? It's not whole number because it's negative 4, okay? So negative 4 is an integer. What else? Can you write negative 4 as a fraction? Yeah, negative 4/1. So it is also rational number. So that number is wearing two hats, integer and rational number. Next, how about negative 2.705? Stops. What is that? It's a terminating decimal. It stops, right? Stopping decimal. Therefore, what's terminating decimal? It's rational number. How about square root of 8? Square root of 8 is irrational number. Okay? Like right here. We've kind of talked about that. So it's q and dash, okay, or q prime. Last one, 9/3. Again, anytime if you can reduce it or simplify, let's do that. What's 9/9? 9/3. Isn't that 3, right? Now, what is 3? Three is natural number. 3 is a whole number. 3 is also part of an integer group. And you can write 3 as a fraction, right? 3/1 or 9/3, as a matter of fact. So it is wearing multiple hats. It's a natural number. It's a whole number. It's an integer. And then it's a rational number. Okay. So some numbers do wear multiple identities. Okay. All right. Are you guys okay so far? Are you guys with me? All right. Next, we did talk about solving equations and then solving inequality. So I'm skipping the equation, but let's jump right into the solving inequality. Okay. All right. So work on this one. I'll give you a 1 minute. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. I wish I could meet you guys in person someday. It's very strange teaching math to you guys, all of you guys, and without meeting you guys in person even once. Anybody else? Is all done? Would you indicate if you're done or maybe share your solutions? You can share it to everybody. You can share it privately to me. Okay. Anybody else? If it's right, that's great. Yeah. And if it's wrong, all it means is that you've got something to pay attention to, right? So let's distribute negative 2x minus 2 plus 4. You don't want to distribute negative 2 all the way to 4 because 4 is already outside of parentheses. So don't distribute that. Okay. Sign stays the same. Negative 2 plus 4, they're on the same side. Okay. Let's simplify that. Negative 2x plus 2 is less than 10. Is everybody okay so far? If not, will you fix it? Okay. It's so important. Okay. Now I'm going to subtract. Subtract 2. When you subtract, what do you do with a sign, an inequality sign? It stays the same, right? Subtracting, adding stays the same. So you get negative 2x is less than 8. Now, when do we flip the sign? When you divide or multiply by negative number. Can you say that out loud? I know it sounds silly just speaking to the computer monitor, but say it out loud. When do you flip the sign? When you multiply or divide both sides by negative number. Did you say that? Thank you for those. So you're going to divide both sides by negative 2. So what do you have to do with a sign? The sign will flip. Not because the answer is negative 4, but because you divided both sides by negative 2 in this case. So the answer is that. Now, did you guys do that graphing? Let's do that if you haven't. 0, let's just call that negative 4, right? Everybody tell me, okay? You tell me. What kind of a circle is it? Is it going to be open or closed? It will be open circle. You do not fill the circle in. You don't do that, okay? It's going to be open. When do you close it? When it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. If it's open circle, it's less than or greater than, okay? So since it's just a greater than sign, it's going to be open, and then we're going to shade to the right, okay? It's greater than negative 4. Okay, how did you guys do? Perfect? Anything to fix? Then let's fix that. Okay, just one more for solving inequality. Can you try that? 1 minute. And then graph the solution set. All right. So maybe still working on it. I'll start distributing. -6 minus 36x 6 minus 30x. Now, especially when you're solving inequality, you might keep the x on the left side and try to get rid of -30x. Or if you just do a conventional method, how you were taught, you get rid of bigger negative number, right? So you add 36x. Isn't that how you've been taught? Maybe you've done that. So that's gone. So you've got -6 less than or equal to 6 plus 6x. -6 minus 6. It's -12. Are you guys following this? And then divide by 6, divide by 6. So I get -2 is less than or equal to x. Now, this is a fine by itself. There's nothing wrong with this. This is a perfect. I will give 100% for this answer for anybody, okay? However, especially when you are solving inequality, you might want to bring the variable to the left side. So I'm going to switch x and -2 around. So I'm going to rewrite it as x on the left side, -2 on the right side. Now, if you switch around, the alligator mouth that you've been taught, that it should be facing towards the same directions, right? Well, same number or variable. Your alligator mouth, your fish mouth is facing towards x. So if you switch around, the alligator mouth should be facing towards x as well. In other words, what I'm getting at is it should be, so these two are the same thing, okay? Is everybody okay on that? Okay. Now you can graph and use the arrow trick. This time it is going to be closed circle. Does your circle be closed? And then the arrow is pointing that way. So we are going to shade the right side. If your answer is right here and you ended, you will not be able to use the arrow trick because the arrow is pointing to the left, isn't it? But in actuality, the real answer, you should be shading to the right instead of left. And you can only use the arrow trick when variable is on the left side. So you might just make a habit of bringing x to the left side at the end. But make sure that the mouth, alligator mouth, follows where it was originally facing towards. Okay. Yes, no. I wish I could see your faces and see. That's one downside of teaching remotely. I have no idea whether you're getting this, you're happy, unhappy, you're understanding it, no understanding it. You guys let me know, okay? At any point during the class, during the semester, because only thing that I can get is that from the chat. And I'm not gonna make you guys turn on the camera. I'm not gonna do that. So you let me know. You have to let me know. I don't have any type of sense of getting from your facial expressions or body language that I used to be able to somewhat read when I was teaching in classroom, but I don't have that anymore. Right? So you guys need to let me know. Okay? And in some way, it's a little bit easier to tell me, right? Because you don't have to raise your hand. All you have to do is just type, okay? Nothing is going to offend me. Well, this you, okay? Yeah. If you're not understanding, just tell me. I don't get it. You can tell me that. Okay? All right. Next one. We've talked about domain and range. Are you guys okay on that? Let's do, okay, this is it. We've got 4 more to go, and then we'll be done, okay? And I think it will go pretty quickly. What is the domain? What's the definition of a domain? Domain is, in essence, it's X value. Range is Y value. You've got to remember that. You've got to memorize this one. Because it's going to come up in next math class. I can guarantee you. Okay. Domain is X. Range is Y. So for this question, it's really easy. Domain is all the X value. X value is the first number on the coordinate, right? It's 1, 3, and you don't need to write the same number twice. And then -1. So it's 1, 3, and -1. Okay. Well, now you know, hopefully, Jacob. And then range is Y value. So what are the Y value? Let's list them up. 3, 2, 7, and 4. Usually you want to write it in small to big, but that's perfect. Okay, 3, 2, 7, and 4. Those are our range. Now here's a maybe if there's any difficulty to this, it's the function part. Is this a function? And we did talk about that. If you do not understand this quite yet, please, you need to watch the video. It's on YouTube. The link is on the canvas. And you can just fast forward to that and pinpoint the and retrieve the information. A little bit easier, right? So please watch that. But in essence, now, well, let me talk to you guys. Is this a function? What would you guys say? Yes or no? Yes means it's a function. No means it's not a function. This is a not function. That's right. It's not function. Now, why, right? So you need to know, you need to get the clue. If you could not tell, then there's something that you need to learn right now, okay? In order for the relation to be function, each x has to have only one y value. You cannot be paired with two different y value set. That's not function. Each number can only have one y value. Each x can only have one y value. Now you might be thinking, well, isn't each x only have a one y value, right? You got one x and one y, right? But look at this one right here. 1 is paired with first 3. 1, 3. But also right here, 1 is paired with 7. And that is not function. It violates the definition of it, or goes against the definition, I should say. So this is a not function. You guys okay on that? Okay. How about this one? Let's just not do the domain and range here, okay? But, well, actually, yeah. Is this a function? Is this a graph function? It's actually just a collection of dots. And again, this is a not function. Why? Another way to tell function is, I taught you guys the vertical line test. You guys remember that? Vertical line test is where you just draw the invisible kind of line in your mind, and you're going to move your vertical line left to right, right to left, okay? At any point, if this red line, the vertical line, hits multiple parts of the graph, then it is not a function. Now, right here, when the red line goes over on those two dots, the line is crossing two dots, isn't it? That means it's not a function. Okay. In other words, when x is 3, you've got two different y value. Y is 0, y is -5 when x is 3. This dot is 3, 0. This one is 3, -5, isn't it? In other words, for 3, when x is 3, you've got two different y values set, 0 and -5. And so again, this is a not function. Yeah, it's not too bad, right? Now, is this okay though? Is this a function? Can 4 be paired up with 2 and 8 paired up with 2? Is this kind of thing okay? The answer is yes. Thank you, Crystal. This is yes. It is. It's function. It's a function. It's a yes function because again the definition is each x value is paired with only one y value, and that's what's happening, isn't it? Each x has one y value. 4 is 2. 8 is 2. Each x is paired up with only one y value. So that's all. This is okay. But this is not okay. Do you see the difference? So if you go like that, that's not function. But 2x value going for one y value, that's okay. Yeah. Okay. Is this a function? Everybody, yes or no? This is not a function. Again, the vertical line test will fail. When you have a vertical line, right here is okay. I'm connecting only one location. I'm still okay. I'm connecting only one location, but once you go over, I'm connecting with the two locations of the graph. In other words, for that particular x value, you've got two different y values. Right? That's what the vertical line test is all about. Right? And if it's crossing 2 points, that means you've got two different y values for that particular x coordinate. So this is not function. How did it go? How do you feel? How is your confidence level? Do you get it? Scale of 1 to 5. Hey, I've got this. Most of the stuff, including solving inequality, defining real numbers, number sets. Okay. So what I want you to do, I'm going to dismiss you guys in a few minutes, but before you go about your day, I want you guys to listen carefully. I posted a quiz, and so every Friday I would like to present a just short quiz, and then the next week, following week, will be the unit test. Okay, we will finish each unit in 2 weeks. Each unit is a 2-week long. The first Friday, we're just going to have a small quiz. And then the next Friday, we're going to have unit test. Okay. Now, for the quiz that you're going to take today, it's very short, only 5 points, but it's going to be counting as a part of the test weight. So it's very important that you do this well. Okay. The silver lining is that you can retake this quiz as many times as you want. Okay. The purpose of the quiz is not so much about testing you. Okay. You are going to take a test next week, aren't you? Right. So I'm not going to But I want you to use this quiz as though more of a checkup, more of a checkup for you to give you some feedback. Hey, you've got this one, right? Or maybe you're not getting this area. And that's what the purpose of the quiz is. So I don't want you to be penalized for that. Okay, I want you to just to have a good positive experience of finding out your strength and maybe the weaknesses. Okay, and if there are questions that you're missing, then I want you to find out not just by retaking it and guessing, but trying to find out why you missed that question and then just redo it. Okay. Again, you can retake it again as many times as you want. I want everybody to get 5 out of 5. Okay. These quiz, you might be thinking, hey, 5 points is not that much, but it is 70% of the part of the grades. So 5 points will add up quite a bit. Okay. And I want everybody to do well on the quiz. I want everybody to get 100% on quizzes. Does that make sense, guys? So it is posted in Canvas. So if you go to Canvas modules, you will be able to see Unit 1 quiz. And I would like you to take it today, right now, okay? So that's all I have for today. You guys, please stay safe, stay warm, and then I will, if you have any questions, if you want to go over more additional problems, please stay in class. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Okay, take care, guys. All right, have a good weekend, guys.